You're listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicky, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hi guys, thanks for joining us. This is Flush Your Fat for Good, to be lean and healthy for life, and my name is Jackie Paget Baird.
And I'm Dr. Vicky Arcady.
I'm just reading a great book.
Oh,
how about that one?
I was reading that too.
We're excited. We're going to talk to you a little bit later about our book, Flush Your Fat for Good. We're very excited about it. And with this podcast, we like to share with you knowledge from all that we know that we put into the book and combine 60 years together to bring you a lifestyle for a lifetime. Flush Your Fat for Good is not a diet. It is a lifestyle. It is not a 30, 60 day, 90, for a year I did good and then I gained it all back kind of thing. This is actually learning how to feed your body according to biochemistry and physiology. And we're excited to have accomplished this book. We wrote this, Dr. Vicky Arcady and myself wrote this along with Kathleen Powell, who watched us struggling to try to put this whole thing together. And she jumped in because she had some unbelievable results along with her sister, who is now a coach of ours, Coach Jennifer. And Kathleen helped us to put this all down on paper for this book. And so far, the results are great. The views are great. We're excited. The book is on Amazon. And if you just type in Flush Your Fat for Good, and it's the number 4, if you can see that, Flush Your Fat for number 4 Good. And in Amazon, it'll come up. Also, we're on in Barnes & Noble. And it's also on our website, flushyourfatforgood.com. A lot of times we like to give you kind of a bunch of stuff all at once about a subject matter, like maybe we have 8 pillars for our lifestyle, and each one is a category, and then sometimes we like to do the whole categories, and then sometimes we just like to take a section of it. Our 4th category, our 4th pillar is called Nutrify. And we've been talking about this lately, Nutrifying, because supplementation is essential. When people say, oh, you don't need to take supplements, you can just get what you want out of your food, that's not true. And because the soils are depleted, because the fruits and vegetables are picked green, because the cows are no longer eating grass-fed unless you seek them out, because there's a lot of issues with the depletion of the nutrients in the foods itself, you have to supplement. And so this section, as you guys know, we always do the Did You Know That section with Dr. Vicky, who I always ask her to do some research. It's always every week. What are we going to research this week? Well, then she dives into it. And I said, a lot of people don't know the word phytosterol. They think it's steroids. They don't know what phyto means. They don't know what sterol means. And they don't know that it's essential to have in our diets and why. So, did you know that is going to be about
phytosterols.
Amen.
So phytosterols are one of the nutrients that we recommend. It's not mandatory, but we highly recommend that you have those, and it's all in our Nutrifying chapter in this book. We talk about what we recommend as far as supplementation. And phyto means plant, sterols. So plant sterols, it's a group of substances that are made in plants. The plants actually make them. They're found in the highest amounts in foods like vegetable oils, nuts, and seeds. Plant sterols are used as medicine. And this goes back to the native Indians as far as the literature I saw today, but I found in an herb book that phytosterols actually date back to Egyptian times.
Yeah.
To handle hormonal and endocrine issues. The Egyptians were using it way back then. And we talk about whole food supplementation, And these are foods that we should be getting in our diets anyway in the first place. And in some literature, it will say that the modern diet includes maybe 2 to 4 milligrams of phytosterols in the foods. But I've also seen in some places in the world it's 150 to 400 milligrams. But if I were to say in the United States of America, I think it's very much lower because of the junk food and the American diet here, the modern American diet. And that will take down your the rawness of the oils. And remember the big oil fat deal that went on in I think that was in the 90s.
The low fat stuff?
Low fat.
Yeah.
I mean, there you have it. Now where are your phytosterols? And thank goodness, Flush Your Fat for Good, we highly recommend your olive oils, your coconut oils, your, the very, very good oils, as well as we do a lot of nuts and seeds. And we soak the nuts and seeds so that they're live. And we had a podcast on that, I believe, not too long ago. But plant sterols are taken by mouth to lower cholesterol levels as well, and to help prevent heart disease and heart attacks. I'll be talking about a little more of that in a minute. But plant sterols are also used for some cancers, such as stomach cancer, colon cancer, and rectal cancer. Plant sterols are also used for
hormones.
Weight loss.
Weight loss, fat loss.
Well, they say weight loss, but
Yeah,
we're going to say fat
we're going to
loss.
say fat loss.
But now this is out of WebMD, which they're saying these things. So the medical community knows this.
They're recognizing it.
So could we have slide number 1, Sam, please? Okay, you'll see on the first slide there that it says phytosterols, and there's a book there that's noted, phytosterols as functional food components and nutraceuticals. Here's a quote, due to overprocessing, pressure on food production, and environmental toxins, the Western diet now contains approximately 1 milligram of phytosterols. Eastern diets contain 300 to 400 milligrams of phytosterols. And they're saying that now they've, 300 to 400 is substantial and okay, but now I've read elsewhere that 1 to 2 grams, which is much more than that. 3 times the 300 milligrams. So you think 1 gram is, 1,000 milligrams. Precursor to DHEA, which is your youth hormone, a pro-hormone used by the body to ensure energy, vitality, and the overall endocrine system health. So speaking of the endocrine system, Sam, please, number 2 slide.
I thought you were going to say, Sam, let's see your endocrine system.
Sam thinks we're nuts, and who doesn't, right?
I was going to say.
We're birds of a different feather. Okay, the endocrine system controls your mood. We call this the happy supplement.
Yeah.
Mental alertness. Who doesn't need that? Happiness. There you go. Number 3. Temperature regulation, which you start to lose as you age. You start losing the ability to regulate your temperature. Hunger. You manage your hunger through phytosterols and the endocrine system.
Because that's metabolism.
Sex drive, well, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Everybody wants sex drive.
Well, now they're going to sell more.
Stress, fat metabolism. So the endocrine system helps with the stress fat metabolism, as we know what that is, right? The cortisol, fat here, belly fat. Sleep. Most of the world, people in the world are not able to sleep efficiently or effectively. And that is very bad.
That's our pillar number 7.
7, exactly. Energy. Everybody wants good energy. Depression. Depression, we found that anybody who's over fat, at least 20 pounds over fat, could be suffering with some depression because your hormones are off.
Right.
Which is why we recommend phytosterols. And metabolic rate.
Right.
You increase your metabolic rate and make it more effective. on when you're supplying enough phytosterols in your diet. It's not supplementing, we want to encourage you to eat the foods that will supply the phytochemicals. Eat plenty of oils, good oils, and nuts and seeds.
Yeah,
as
but
we
you
recommend.
cannot get enough.
But you can't get it. Okay, so because of the first slide, it's just everything's over-processed.
Right.
Okay, Sam, please, number 3. So one of the best natural food sources to help balance all 87 of your hormones is through the Mexican wild yam, the Dioscorea villosa, which is the one that we have been using more than 20 years. So 25 years.
Way more.
Well, actually, I used it in my practice right when I started in the 80s.
The syrup stuff.
In the 80s, I started using it, yeah. Did you know that this is...
Did you know that?
This is also known as another name for this is colic root.
Colic root?
Colic root. So for babies with colic, the mothers need to take plenty of phytosterols so the babies don't have colic.
When they're breastfeeding.
So how do you like that?
I like that.
So there's plenty of evidence that plant sterols do lower cholesterol levels. So that has been going on for a long time. There's been a lot of research done, and it is fully known, and the cholesterol issue is that it's been scientifically proven, and it helps to lower the LDH and raise the LDL and raise the HDL.
You know how to know which one is the good
one? Go ahead. I was going to say it, but
no, go ahead.
HDL is the good one because they're happy.
But no, and healthy. H is healthy.
Healthy and happy.
Right. And L is lethal. So if it's LDL, that's your lethal.
So in 2002, in the annual review of, that's the latest study I found, nutrition, annual review of nutrition explains that phytosterols actually compete for absorption with cholesterol in the digestive tract.
Really?
So it actually helps you to clean out the bad cholesterol.
In the digestive tract?
Yes.
Wow. You guys have to remember that, because Flush Your Fat for Good is all about digestion, absorption, and elimination. That's why we recommend certain supplements for you.
So the cholesterol lowering benefit does not end with your good number on your blood report, your blood test, blood work report, I should say. Having lower cholesterol, as we know, leads to other benefits like reduced risk for heart disease, stroke, and heart attacks. Now, because of that, they've also done studies with familial hypercholesterolemia, which I had a patient as an intern in the early 80s, that her whole family had high cholesterol that was like 1,000 or 1,200.
Yeah, that's my neighbor.
And they had nodules in the joints. She had nodules in her elbow joints, and she was, it was a life or death situation with her. But they found that the phytosterols help with that particular, and I didn't know about those at that time. I only knew about those after I graduated, but it helps with adults and children with high cholesterol levels due to familial hypercholesterolemia.
That's
now,
good.
because the cholesterol issue is of big concern and has been of concern, this is something I didn't know. That they, in Europe, actually I think I counted 32 countries, they have, and I have them on this piece of paper, 32 countries, they have added phytosterols to the food, to some of their foods, like yogurts, kefirs, vegetable spreads, milk. They've added the phytosterols, and there's the drug companies actually have, as a drug, they've tweaked it and made phytosterols into drugs, which they give them drug names. But the countries, 43 countries, excuse me, it's more than that. There's 43 countries that add the phytosterols into the food. Like we have iron fortified, calcium fortified.
Right.
They have phytosterol fortified. Let me just give you a few. Australia, Austria, Bahrain, I don't know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
Belgium, Brazil, Chile, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, the island of Malta, Netherlands, Netherlands Antilles, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, UK, and USA.
So they're thinking that this is so important that you have to add it to the foods because they're not getting, most people aren't getting enough anymore.
The countries have approved it and found that it's beneficial for cholesterol. So they want to
they're trying to control that.
That's right. So as you can see, it's very important. It's not, we didn't make this up. And this was in 1999 that they were doing this.
But when was the last time you bought something and saw, except for margarine or certain butters, where they have phytosterols? I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that here.
Have you seen it?
No.
No.
So what are some of the other benefits? Besides hormonal support, which we read the list and you guys saw the list, it's very beneficial for what we're here for, and that's getting the fat off for good, okay? With your adjusting your metabolism, your hormones, your balance of your hormones, your regulation of your hormones, your metabolic rate, your mood, your happiness, your everything, you know, whatever you can think of. But what other benefits do phytosterols have?
It's going to help regulate your blood sugar.
Cancer protection benefits.
Oh, you're right.
Who knew that?
Okay.
Phytosterols have been found to help protect against development of cancer.
Wow.
In July 2009, issue of European Journal of Clinical Nutrition offers encouraging news in the fight against cancer. Researchers at the University of Manitoba in Canada report there is evidence that phytosterols help prevent ovarian, breast, stomach, and lung cancer.
I can see that.
Phytosterols do this by preventing the production of cancer cells. It stops the growth and spread of cells that are already in existence and actually encourage the death of cancer cells. So they have high oxidation levels too, antioxidant levels, excuse me, that helps to stop free radical damage, which is a negative effect on your cells. Skin protection, yes, yes, yes. It helps you to produce collagen, which many people who get on phytosterols, they have a beautiful glow to their face also. And the other thing it does is it lightens your skin. The phytosterols will do hypopigmentation of your skin, like age spots or you know, discolorations of your skin. It'll make your skin more uniform. That's an anti-aging you know, effect. And also, like you said, blood, you know, the blood sugar levels, absolutely.
But I bet something in there, let me interject something here. When what you just wrote about phytosterols being beneficial to help prevent cancer, I know in the past many doctors did not want their patients that had cancer to go on it.
Right.
Thinking that it was going to increase.
That was the old.
Right. So when
now we have studies that show otherwise.
Right. So, you know, you have to stay up to date on a lot of this information, and that's why we try to do what we can to give you guys the best information that you can make your decisions on, because sometimes they stay in the old, like the world was flat, now the world's round.
Yes.
And they could prevent you from taking something that's very beneficial for you.
So there's 600 species of this wild yam, and there's only 12 that are edible, really, but 600 species, you know, so it's been out there. God put it on the planet for us to eat, and we should be having this in our diet every single day. One of the most common, or some of the first things that wild yam is one of the first supplements I think of when I think of anything to do with the reproductive system, man or woman. So for women, postmenopausal vaginal dryness, premenstrual syndrome, any menstrual related issues, infertility, osteoporosis, because it helps with your bone also. Increasing your energy, we talked about that. Aiding in a better libido, we talked about that. In both men and women, as well as breast enlargement, which a lot of women like that. Breast enlargement.
So do the men.
Right, so do the men. Gallbladder issues. Oh, and the other thing I read about was diverticulitis. It is incredible for your colon. Diverticulitis is very painful. It happens to like 50% of the people over 50. And you're seeing, I just told you about someone 20 years old.
I was going to
diagnosed
say
with-
they're coming in.
Yeah, it's getting younger because people
Mm-hmm.
aren't getting their phytosterols and they're not eating well. They're not eating well. They're not eating enough fiber.
They're not digesting. They're not doing well with their colon.
But any kind of colic, cramping, spasms, nausea, coughs, it has been shown also that wild yam is good for that too. So we recommend, there's many different brands, and just do your homework on it. And, if you're going to get one, you want to take enough. You want to take, enough every day. I always say, depends on the person. Start with what's on the label, and then you can double it. Because remember, and in WebMD, they said they don't know of any side effects. They don't know of any actually contraindications.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they would recommend that you be cautious of is if you're on hormone replacement therapy or something like that, because you're going to get, if you're on hormone replacement therapy, what happens is your organs will shut down. They won't produce the amounts that they could produce. But when you start giving your body the tools, those organs will start turning on. So you might have adverse reactions. Like we've had people in the past who had thyroid issues, and they started taking the phytosterols on a regular basis, and their thyroid started to turn on, and they had to lower their thyroid medications.
Mm-hmm.
So the body's a wonderful thing. It will respond if you give it the tools, and if you do hormone replacement therapy, it'll turn off the gland in many cases. And the other thing is, don't let anyone tell you that phytosterols are hormones. They're not hormones.
Right.
As I said, they are made in the plant. It's a steroid. It's a sterol, a plant sterol that's made in the plant. And
It's like the steroid of the plant.
right. You eat it,
You're eating
and
the plant hormone.
and your body processes it, and it balances your body.
And if you're on any medication, like a Synthroid or a hormone replacement therapy, anything like that, then you're going to be monitored by your doctor anyway.
See your doctor.
So when you're taking, we only deal with specific supplements that the nutrients are missing in the modern day diet. What you want to supplement with is what's missing.
Or lacking.
Or
in this
lacking,
case, yes.
right. And that's kind of half of one and six of the
Well,
other, isn't it?
some people eat very well, but they still don't get enough
Right,
because
but it's
of
still missing. The
it's-
bottom line, it's not in the soils, it's not in their foods, they've overcooked
Well,
it, they've overprocessed
they
it.
might have a little,
it's-
but it's not enough.
Right, not enough.
Not
So-
enough to get a good benefit out of it.
Okay, so tomato. The bottom line is your doctor is going to be monitoring you.
Yes.
If you're, like, say, for example, one of the best things and why it is so, phytosterols are so great for fat loss, and especially diabetics or people pre-diabetic or people with irregular blood sugars, is that the phytosterols are going to help with regulation. They're not stimulators, they are regulators.
And
that's
modulators. too.
modulators.
And the
right.
immune system. I didn't even mention
And the immune system. But it is from a bitter potato. And there's 600, right? 600 species.
Only 12 are edible.
Right. And the 12, you want to make sure when you get a good phytosterol product that it's from a really good ethical company and a company that has good science behind it. Because it's effective. It's very effective.
Mm-hmm.
My twin sister has a son that was type 1 diabetic. And it was very, very helpful and beneficial in helping him to regulate his blood sugar. So another thing with fat loss is when you can regulate that blood sugar, you're not crashing, you're not craving, and your adrenals. Your endocrine system is from your pineal to your thyroid to your pancreas, your adrenals, to the ovaries, for the men, the prostate, and you have 17 sexual...
And there's hormones in every cell.
There's a hormone in every cell.
The cells have to be regulated, and
Right.
they have to have,
But like what you said, we have 87 hormones, just 17 are sexually related. Everything is how you think, how you sleep, how you feel, how your attitude, if you're crashing all the time. It's really, really important. Your endocrine system, if you have a good, healthy, balanced endocrine system, it is like a happy pill. You know? It's a happy pill. So when that happens, especially when you're eating the lifestyle of Flush Your Fat for Good, this is one of the reasons why we so want you to be on a phytosterol. Because when you're dieting, which is not Flush Your Fat for Good, but your body is going to be making changes. And we have phase 1, phase 2. Phase 1 is completely without starches, sugars, cow dairy, artificial sweeteners, dyes, partially hydrogenated oils, preservatives, alcohol, all kinds of things that you might be used to.
Yes.
So when you eliminate that, boom, bada bing, bada bing, you're not doing it today. And you start this lifestyle, you want to support all the systems in your body. Mm-hmm. You want to support your cardiovascular system, your digestive system, your hormone system, your defense system, all of these systems, your autonomic nervous system, all of this you want to support with the proper supplementation.
Yes.
When you're on a phytosterol, it's supporting, like Dr. Vicky said, your DHEA, which is your youth hormone, which is what is really the master gland, right?
It's the mother hormone.
Right.
And from that goes all the other, will funnel off all the other hormones.
Right.
Or they're made from that. And I had my own experience before I started taking.
Yes, you did.
And I took my blood work before I started taking phytosterols on a regular basis because there was an issue about DHEA at that time. That was back in the 90s. People were saying, oh, it can't raise your DHEA. That's impossible in those days. That's impossible that a supplement or phytosterol can do that. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and get mine checked. And I was very run down at that time. I had 2 practices. I was doing a lot of births in the middle of the night.
It was right after the earthquake.
Getting very little sleep.
Wiped out.
I just looked horrible. I felt horrible. I was thin, and I wasn't very healthy at the time. I was just overworked and underpaid. No, just kidding. Overworked. And the midwife I work with, she examined me and she said, Vicki, you're not in good shape. You look like you're run down. So I asked her to take my blood, and we got the DHEA levels. So I waited 8 weeks. I took just the minimum, what it was said on the label, 1 caplet 3 times a day. That's all I did. 1 caplet 3 times a day. And I went back after 8 weeks at the same time of day because, during the day you have
spikes.
Peaks and valleys. Mm-hmm. And I still have the lab work, but I think it's all faded now, but it went up 17 times. And my midwife checked me and she goes, you're in such better shape. I just can't get over it. Mm-hmm. Well, that opened her eyes. And from that point on, we started using it on our ladies, in the practice.
Yeah, as women are trying to get pregnant, if women are pregnant, if they're going to postpartum,
it helped tremendously. And let me tell you what I just discovered.
Okay.
What does that say?
Jicama.
Jicama is a Mexican yam.
Shut up.
Jicama. You guys know what jicama is.
We tell you guys to eat jicama all the time.
Yeah, it's legal.
You squeeze.
It's legal.
You squeeze lime on jicama. You got to slice it,
salt. Mm-hmm.
and then you put a little pink Himalayan salt on it. It's unbelievable for a treat.
Oh, it's crunchy.
Yeah.
It's a good finger food, good crunchy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So who knew? I didn't know. I discovered that today.
See, you learn something new every day.
So menstrual cramps. Yeah, did we talk about that? Menstrual cramps. Anyway, you guys get the picture, right? This is like we feel it's something to cover the bases of when you're losing fat. And you lose it rapidly on Flush Your Fat for Good.
Right.
You want to help your body with the tools that will help sustain your body and help keep it built and strong. And the phytosterols will do that. It will support
and your moods.
It'll
it's
support
really
everything.
going to help your moods.
You'll sleep better. I mean, so many energy will be better. It's just going to be such a benefit.
And this is not just for ladies, okay?
No,
this
is for the men too.
Men have hormones too. I know you guys that are listening, I don't have hormones. Yes, you have hormones. It's not just testosterone, you know.
You have estrogen too.
Right, estrogen. And especially when women go through menopause, you know, you go into ovarian failure. Well, your estrogen is released through your adrenals.
Growth hormone.
Right. So,
you know,
the thing is,
DHEA, they have DHEA.
You want homeostasis, you want balance. And when you go through things, even a trauma, when you go through age, when you go through
stress.
Menopause, stress,
moving,
death, divorce,
a disaster, you know,
anything.
A car wreck. You know how you feel after you've had an accident.
Getting up and going to your job every day and you can't stand it, right?
Yes. Oh,
or you love
horrible.
it, but you're tired. So the bottom line is you have to support yourself.
Your body.
You don't drive a car on just 3 tires. You have to support your body. And the reason why we're saying it's a supplement now, even though you just found out that in some of the countries, and even in our own, they're putting some of these phytosterols in the foods. But first of all, it's not the best quality.
No, they tweak it.
Yeah, they tweak it.
It's a drug company that makes it, tweaks it, makes it. By the way, the first birth control pills were made from
the Diascoria villosa.
Phytosterols.
Right. So,
FYI,
that's good. That's good to know.
But not now.
No. But what I was going to say is when you're losing fat, and with Flush Your Fat for Good, you're going to be losing rapidly. And some people say, in fact, at the Savannah's baby shower, I was talking with somebody, and she goes, yeah, I've been watching your podcast, and I saw some of your posts, and people are losing rapidly. Isn't that, kind of dangerous? And we said, no.
It could be, if it's the wrong.
Well, that's what I said. I said, no, not with Flush Your Fat for Good. Because when you are losing the fat, it is at a healthy rate. The women lose like around 3 pounds a week. The men lose from 4 to 5. And this is why we hate men. No, that's they just can lose faster because they have testosterone. And in the muscles, that's where they're burning their fat. But with the women and the men, regardless, you are losing quickly. But this is why we're doing Cran Flush. We're flushing the fat and all the toxins through the liver and the kidneys and out through the body. This is why we want you to supplement, because it assists the body in supporting the issue of rapid, safe fat loss, because you want that fat off like yesterday. And you can get discouraged when you're trying to lose fat. You can you get depressed, or you get, like a lot of people, they'll get started on the lifestyle and then they take before and afters, right?
Oh,
the before pictures.
That can be
and you're
brutal.
Excited about doing this lifestyle. You got it all together. You got your workbook, and we'll talk about this in a second. It's on the website, and you're going through it and you're all excited. But when you look at the before pictures, not the after, because you just got started, you go, oh my God, how did I allow myself? How did it happen? But how did I allow myself? Because people, we get caught up. We're humans. We get caught up in life. We either don't care, or we need to find something that's going to give us pleasure. We're crazed, or we're not eating. And by not eating, you get fat.
Yes, you do.
And when you're stressed, you get fat. We did one of our podcasts on cortisol. You were talking about how stress, destroys you, because it puts the cortisol on your tummy, which oddly enough is by your liver, and that's so that it can be filtered through the liver, which is, the body's an amazing thing. But when you can balance and support all of your systems while you're doing Flush Your Fat for Good, it's a lifestyle. It's teaching you how to eat, when to eat, what to eat, and you're never hungry. You get full. You feel almost amazing by the 3rd day. Sometimes you go into what's called a DOE, which is day of exhaustion. Now, very few, not very few, I can say, Some of our people that have
Several have.
Yeah, they're just so, they're in our Power 100 Heroes group, which means they have 100 pounds plus to lose. Well, they said, I never got day of exhaustion, I got day of energy, because they have been so exhausted. Their joints are hurting. Just to get out of the car and get back in, to get out of the car and go into the supermarket. This is where our hearts just ache for our Power 100 Heroes. And if you're there and you need to lose 100 plus pounds, please join us, because we have a Power 100 call tomorrow every Wednesday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And we have Coach Jennifer, who lost over 100 pounds, hosting the call with us. Because it's a different paradigm for you guys. It's painful. You're exhausted just from trying to get up in the morning, get yourself ready, and go to work. And then when you have to look in the mirror and you see yourself, you're so bummed out. You're like, and then you just go, I don't care. Let me just go to work. But you can do this lifestyle.
Yes.
You can get your body within 72 hours to feel good, to feel energetic. And we have 12-year-olds doing this, because this little boy had a 41-inch waist. And it was a horrific thing to see a little boy have to suffer like that. When you have a 41-inch waist and you're 12 and you're going into puberty, you're not going to be able to, let alone play sports.
It's humiliating.
But what's happening in 13, 14, and 15? Yeah.
It's so embarrassing, because it's puberty.
Yeah, and their friends are starting to talk about girls, and they don't, and their self-confidence. But anyway, we were able to put him on Flush Your Fat for good. And he's in sports, and he's doing great.
He's doing better. And we also have our Flush Your Fat for Good Buddies Facebook room. So you can group. It's a group that we, and a page. All you have to do is, ask to join Flush Your Fat for Good Buddies. And you have to answer a few questions. We put a few questions there because we need to know a little bit and set up the guidelines for you. And then we have rules on the top, and we will let you in, to the room, because that is where you really get all the good support. 24/7, we have more than 100 coaches in there around the world, and people
and they've
just
all
jump
had
in.
success, so they know how to answer your questions, and we're on there all the time.
All the time.
It's like the neighborhood, okay?
Yeah.
And people, when they have gone away and they come back, they go, "Oh my God, I feel like I've come home." What I wanted to say is, we recommend several supplements, to nutrify in our fourth pillar. Can't remember what the chapter is, but there's a reason for it, and that's exactly what I was just saying, is to support all your systems. But each supplement plays a role with fat loss. If you're doing the antioxidants, that's going to help you not only protect the good cells from being damaged by the toxins coming out of your fat cells, because that's where the toxins harbor, but it's going to strengthen up and protect your good cells to maintain and function properly. Another thing is with the glyconutrients. We talk about the glyconutrients and glycans. Last week we did a whole podcast on glycans for cell-to-cell communication and cell-to-cell recognition. Well, when you're taking phytosterols, they work hand in hand, so that
they're lacking in the diet.
They're not only lacking in the diet, but they assist and support the diet and the body trying to lose the fat, so that you don't get exhausted, you don't get tired, you don't have low blood sugar, your adrenals aren't shot, you're not spaced out. Sometimes when you're over fat and 20 pounds over, if you're 20 pounds over fat, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you are.
Some people, I just have 20, 40 pounds. No.
We call that the red flag.
Right.
I mean, that when you're 20, it'll go to 30, 40. I mean, you're in trouble.
Every year.
Your body gets, and we learned that if you decide to just, over the holidays, I'm just going to eat whenever I want, that sticks to you, and you end up gaining more and more and more every year.
Right.
So.
And they say the older you get, the harder it is to lose.
True.
But if you do Flush Your Fat for Good, that's not true, because we have 87 and 92-year-olds that have lost up to 75, 80 pounds in a walker, because we're dealing with digestion, absorption, and elimination.
And the foods are fresh, so.
Right.
We have you eating your greens, your nuts and seeds in the proper way. Yogurts, goat yogurt, and lean meat, clean meats, and it's just, and your cran flesh. We know about cran flesh. It's there's no one on the planet that cannot benefit from cranberry juice. Period. We did a whole podcast on that.
Right. So we have our website where we have this book for sale. And the great thing about that, if you want to buy off the website, flushyourfatforgood.com, is that we give a free food combining chart, which is one of our pillars.
Hold it up. Do we have it?
Yeah, I think so.
But it's also on Amazon.com. And like she said earlier, and you can just type it in there in the search box on your Amazon website.
And if you buy on Amazon and you like the book, please give us a good review.
Yes, please.
Because
please.
we have fun going to look at the reviews. We go, oh my God, he loved the book. Yeah, you get a free food combining chart. Now, this is not a new thing, food combining.
No.
This is not a gimmick. This is actually a real thing that probably about 4 really top doctors.
1800s, no?
Well, 1850. It
1850.
started with the hygienists that were recognizing, that certain foods were not compatible with other foods, and therefore it created all kinds of digestive issues and was creating all kinds of health issues. So later on, then, in the early 1900s, there were other people showing up trying to talk about this. Then in the 50s, it was Dr. Herbert Shelton that showed up, and Dr. Hayes. They even call it, what do they call it? Hain, the diet, the Hain diet. But it's
Hain,
all
H-A-I-N?
H-A-Y.
Oh.
Hain.
Because there's a H-A-I-N food, foods.
No.
Hain foods.
Oh, Hain, no. No, that's mayonnaise.
Hey, no.
Hey,
H-A-Y.
Right. But that's mayonnaise. I see the Hain.
Hain,
and,
you guys know
coconut oil. Never mind. So, but the Hain diet, H-A-Y-I-N-G. But Dr. Hayes. But Dr. Herbert Shelton is the one that brought it out in the 50s about food combining made easy.
He wrote so many books, though. He wrote so many other books.
Oh, yeah, but it wasn't made easy because it was...
No.
That's why what we did was we simplified it so that it's good for compliance. If you I think our title of our chapter there is Don't Knock It Till You Try It, because honest to God, those people that are not having proper bowel movements, 3 to 4 a day, I know most people look, what do you mean 3 to 4 a day? What? I do 1 if I'm lucky. No. Optimal is 4, right?
3 to 4, according to Cecil's textbook of medicine.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vicki. The walking encyclopedia.
No, it's just,
Yeah, it's called research. But yes, it is amazing because your intestinal tract is the pipes of life. So if you're not eating right and you're not supplementing your body to lose the fat properly and you're not having proper bowel movements, guaranteed you're not feeling good. You think this is normal for you, but it's not.
It's all about digestion.
So the food combining chart is very cool because that'll come, we have Starter Kit 1 and Starter Kit 2. Starter Kit 1 comes with the workbook, which I like with my clients. I tell them, you have to go to the website. I want you to join as a VIP member. That way you get to see all 23 of our videos explaining how to cook the food. We're in the kitchen, explaining how this all came about, explaining the philosophy, and talking about certain things that can really help you. We have frequently asked questions. We've got our podcasts. We've got over 100 audios. What do you call them? Support calls that we had.
Snippets.
Yeah, snippets of.
So you don't have to listen to the whole. I mean, sometimes they were two hours long. So we cut them up into sections for you.
Yeah, so that if you see the subject matter there, you'll be able to listen to that and learn. But then I tell my clients, register yourself as a VIP member. Then I want you to get starter kit number 1, because that'll give you the essential fatty acids, which is CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. That'll give you GLA, gamma-linoleic acid.
Yes.
These are both incredible tools. These are supplements that will help you to burn the fat, okay?
They're especially good in the winter.
Yes.
If you can absolutely continue taking them in the winter, because you don't get much activity because of the snow.
I was talking to the gal that did Susie, that put together. Shout out to Susie if you're watching.
Hi, Susie.
She she runs the whole Outside the Box, which is a wonderful children's community
Activity.
Yeah, it's for sensory learning and
it's
everything.
Incredible.
It's very
One of
cool.
a kind.
Yeah, and anyway.
In Woodland Hills.
So she joined as a VIP member. She got the workbook. I hadn't seen her for a while, and I looked at her and I go, "Oh my God, you look pretty good." And she goes, "Yeah, of course." And she goes, "It's that CLA and GLA."
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you eating
true.
like the lifestyle?" She goes, "Oh yeah, of course."
See?
But it's that CLA GLA.
It does help.
Oh yeah,
It helps a
really
lot.
does, because the CLA prevents the enlargement of your fat cells, breaks them up, and then assists in making lean muscle mass, which is really in your lean muscle mass is where you burn your fat. But the GLA stimulates the brown fat to burn the white fat. Your white fat is your adipose tissue, and it helps you to, your skin to look good.
And if you've lost fat, it helps you to keep it off.
Right. So you have the charts, you've got the grocery list. We have a coaching course on the website. It's pretty amazing if you want to learn and get very well educated on what we're talking to you about tonight. And I guess we just want to thank you for joining us. Do you have anything else to say?
Stay warm, stay safe, and stay cool.
Take your Phytosterols.
Stay cool, stay warm, stay safe, and just try it. Give us 2 months if you're a newbie. Just try it. If you're looking at this, just try it. I guarantee you'll have fun.
Yeah, you'll
All
have
right.
fun.
Okay. So, is that it?
I think that's it. Thank you for
Well,
joining us.
good night.
Take your Phytosterols.
Yes.
God bless.
God
Bye.
bless. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicky, only on LA Talk Radio.